What is going on, everybody? Nation, Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Quick Pitch MLB DFS podcast and live stream powered by the Better Sports Network on across all of Fantasy Farm social channels as well. James, quick show today. We got 5 games on this Thursday main slate starting at 6:35. So a little bit of an early start time than usual here for this general main slate here. 5 games. Colorado is on the slate, but thankfully not in Coors Field. They're on the road. This one in Philadelphia. We may have some weather impacting there with the Dodgers Chicago. Little rain symbol up here on the DraftKings scoreboard. So we'll see exactly tomorrow how much that's going to be impacted by the rain. But this could quickly become a 4-game slate as well. 5 games. Should be a good one.
Yeah, and on top of that, we'll see what if there is no rain, whether the wind is blowing in or out at Wrigley. Like there's always wild stuff going on. Let's look at Vegas, John. Matt Strahm and the Philadelphia Phillies are the biggest favorites on the board, minus 210 over on DraftKings Sportsbook against the Rockies. We're finally getting a slate without the Rockies at home, and you see what they are on. I mean, they can't score at home, so they're definitely not going to score on the road. Roansy Contreras and the white hot Pittsburgh Pirates minus 150 against the Reds. And then like just kind of middling totals, middling spreads. Kodai Senga, the Mets are minus 135 on the road. Totals. So we do have 9.5 run implied in Dodgers Cubs, even 10 on FanDuel, which I think is interesting. Maybe indicating
I just pulled up the weather here. Looks like we're gonna have scattered thunderstorms from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Now, scattered over the stadium, scattered just around Chicago, scattered in different parts of Chicago, maybe not even near the stadium. So maybe a delay in this one, but basically there's no rain after 8 o'clock. So winds are ranging between 15 to 20 miles an hour. That's certainly what will do it for you. So, we'll see what happens when that game plays, if they're delayed or not, but there's definitely some wind blowing in that one.
So, John, it is Thursday. So that means we have the return of Fernando Tatis for the San Diego Padres. I was wondering why this game opened at 9.5 outside of the fact that Ryan Nelson versus Michael Wacha was the pitching matchup. But it's not like the ballpark is like this hitter's paradise, right? It's not like
oh my God, James.
Oh
you
my!
know what Fernando Tatis is?
I just looked at the screen. Okay. Here's a question. I have a question.
99%.
No. Okay. Over under 99%.
Over.
How do you
not play Fernando Tatis at Stone Cold mid price $2,000?
That is, I mean, we've been talking about like the missteps of DraftKings.
I just clicked him in our lineup. I hope that's okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
We're going to be the one person in the world that doesn't play Fernando Tatis. This is like, what are we?
It's a free square. It's like that time FanDuel accidentally priced Kike Hernandez at $200.
And not like the time that DraftKings priced Chris Davis at $600.
Intentionally making him free to play because he was on that 0 for 60 strikeout streak.
Yeah. That is okay.
Safe to say you can pay up for Senga if you want.
Safe to say you can pay up for literally anybody you want. But yeah, 9.5 implied runs in that game is super appealing. 9 in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, 9 in Colorado, Philly, 9.5 in the 8.5 is the lowest game total on the board. Giants Mets. So that's interesting because Sean Manaea, although he's 9,900 and although he's coming off like 2 decent outings, like 3 1/3 is all he got through last outing, and he threw 82 pitches. The Mets are not the offense to mess around against. So interesting to see that the lowest implied game total heading into tonight.
I mean, listen, we'll jump into pitching right now. We've talked about San Francisco's numbers against the righties. I was obviously talking them up. They have some guys that hit lefties, but a lot of those guys this year are obviously hitting righties. Senga, of course, chalk of the chalk against Oakland the other day, and he gets hit around 4 2/3, 7 hits allowed, 4 earned. Brent Rooker took him deep. He had 2 home runs allowed. He walked 4 walks are a problem for Kodai Senga. He's got 10 walks now in 3 starts.
Yep.
That in Major League Baseball, when you're not facing the Marlins and the A's, will generally get you beat up. San Francisco can lay some lumber against right-handed pitching. If you're going to be walking 3 or 4 guys, some runs are going to be coming in. So I don't know if I want to pay up for Senga here at 10-3. You mentioned Sean Manaea, not really interested in that. I've been telling you that Arizona's lineup has just been,
Right.
they have guys that can just wake up and do some damage. Corbin Carroll, again, really big day for him. He even sold another bag. Michael Wacha, after his good start against Atlanta, shelled against Milwaukee, another one of those teams that can just hang runs on you. So I don't know if you want to throw Wacha against Arizona. Taillon against the Dodgers, not great. Nelson versus San Diego. Grove versus Chicago, not great. Like, who is it? Is it Strom? But then where? Contreras? Like, what are we doing? Luke Weaver off the IL? Who's our SP2 in this slate?
Who did you deem SP1? Senga?
No,
because then you said you didn't want to pitch him. So who's SP1?
Matt Strom. Strom only got pulled from his last start at saying because he cut his thumb during warmups. Hurt his chances there against Cincy. But Strom was really New York first start.
He was good against the Yankees. Yeah.
Miami. Now pitch count certainly is something to like about, but 67 pitches they let him go in 2 2/3, and they pulled him, claiming it was just the cut on the thumb. So maybe he gets 75 pitches here against Colorado and gets 5 innings. Like,
yeah, so I think he's definitely in play.
There's a good chance that like every pitcher on the slate gives up like 5 runs.
Well, who gives up 4 is who we're looking for. I think like Senga is obviously risky. He didn't look great last start, but the strikeouts were still there. So I think even though San Francisco has been dominant against righties, because we talked about it on Wednesday's podcast, they are second in the league in OPS against right-handed pitching, only behind the Tampa Bay Rays. But, John, they also have a 26.8% K rate against right-handed pitching that is first in the league. So I'm okay getting to Senga. I don't have a lot of interest in Sean Manaea. I think the Mets are too good against left-handed pitching. They also walk a whole bunch. They don't strike out a lot, and they just have a ton of power against lefties. So I won't be getting to Manaea. Wacha is nothing but a GPP play. Taillon, I mean, that's, good luck if there's wind and rain in Wrigley. Like, good luck using pitchers in that game.
The Dodgers. It's funny because Taillon and Grove just faced, each other's teams and actually both pitched really well. Grove looked good against Chicago. Taillon looked good against the Dodgers, but it was in LA. Now you're in Chicago, maybe some rain and some wind. So,
yeah, really hard to get to either.
Contreras?
Yeah, I think if we're not going to Strom, or even if we're just not spending up, if we're not comfortable spending up, I kind of want to get to Roansy Contreras because we're away from Great American Ballpark, which is obviously, that's where Cincinnati has done all their damage over the last few years. John, we're back at it again with the white vans. Okay. This year on the road, Cincinnati, 27th in OPS, 637 team OPS. That's 4th, 27th, 25.9% K rate. They have the lowest ISO in the league. So they have, let me see if they've hit the fewest home runs. They have hit 2 home runs on the road this year.
Yeah.
2. I am going to play Roansy Contreras, and icing on top, I know it's been Coors, but Pittsburgh has won a whole bunch of games this year. Yeah. And they just continue to score runs, and I think just kind of again surprise us. Like, I don't know. I have interest in Pittsburgh bats again. Like, it's I think Roansy Contreras is a great play. another guy who needs to limit the walks, and he can have a lot of success. He was really good against Boston. He was really good against St. Louis. He struggled against Houston. That happens. So
Yep.
I'm getting Toronzi Contreras in this.
Okay. I mean, if we're playing Strom and Contreras, 7K and 6,400
with a 2K Tatis.
With a 2K shortstop, we can literally play whoever we want. Would you have any interest in Luke Weaver? He just hasn't been the same guy since the Tommy John, but the strikeout per 9 has always been there. Even last year with Kansas City when he had a 6.5 ERA, 9.6K per 9. He just had a 1.8. He just had a 1.8 WHIP, right? Like
that also could be skewed. And yes, he has been good in that department for a large part of his career, but that also could be skewed because 25 of those appearances were out of the bullpen.
Sure.
So just the natural I can empty my gas tank last year. So just looking at it last year, John, fastest fastball velocity he's had his whole career, which I don't think is a coincidence just because that's what you can do in shorter stints on the mound, just throw harder, right?
He made one start last year, did not go well. 9 runs in 3 innings. But he had 5 strikeouts. So I don't know what poor man, what team that they threw him out there against. But they shellacked him.
I'm not getting there.
Minnesota tagged him for 9 runs and 10 hits in 3 innings. That's fine. His FIP in that game, if you're interested, is 3.6. So some pretty unluckiness, I guess, maybe there. 9 runs allowed, but
we are fishing.
All right, fine. That's fine. We're past it. One last thing, just because why not? His ERA last year was 6.56. His FIP last year 2.69.
Okay, I think it's hard to speculate because those numbers are good, but again, out of the bullpen,
he was really good before the Tommy John. He just hasn't been never the same guy.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm wasting a lot of time here talking about a $5,900 player, but we're starting a 7K and a $6,400 starter. So
this is also a good point.
Yeah. So I honestly, I don't know. Walk is probably the guy I would pay for if we would pick one guy up top, because I think San Diego wins this game. So maybe Waka gets a W. And we generally look at Arizona against left-handed pitching, not right-handed pitching. But again, Corbin Carroll's really good. Pavin Smith apparently really good today. Right?
Yeah.
They certainly have guys that can do damage. But Waka would probably be my guy above the group. In what world is Sean Manaea a $9,900 pitcher?
He's not. I mean, this slate. I mean, I don't know who.
Play light, folks. Play light.
John, before we move on.
Sure.
Here on the Better Sports Network, we have an NFL draft preview.
We do.
Upcoming on Tuesday night. Join Eric Balkman from the FFPC and Garrett Price from Dynasty Nerds for an NFL draft preview from the fantasy football perspective, even though this is a fantasy baseball podcast. Join those guys featuring a 3-round NFL mock draft, position by position, breakdowns plus a fantasy football rookie draft, including the experts of the Fantasy Football Players Championship and Dynasty Nerds.
Gotta promote the family there. We're but now proudly part of the Better Sports Network. They got obviously a lot of great stuff. Myself and Andrew Cooper recorded the Quick Out podcast earlier today. They had that show live breaking down dynasty quarterbacks. James and I go live at 5:00 here on Better Sports Network. We do the morning show. A lot of great things coming soon as well to the Better Sports Network there also. So good looks on the draft show there. Let's go to catcher. We have the field to play because we're not really afraid of anybody. We're obviously not going to put hitters against our pitchers. So that takes out, not that we'd play Elias Diaz, but, we do like some Colorado guys against lefties. That is worth noting. But we are pitching strong.
Yes.
And then Cincinnati on the road, no Tyler Stevenson. So that leaves us Real Muto.
But again, we're not
probably just Real Muto because we can play for him, right? Gabriel Moreno.
Yep. It then depending on the actual weather in Chicago, I think Jan Gomes would be in play. Unfortunately, Will Smith is on the IR. Blake Siebel is interesting. If he starts lefty righty against Senga and then Joey Bart, if you're not a believer of Senga, like Joey Bart, I know he didn't do much the last couple days, but I mean, 0 for 2 with 6 fantasy points, like at
Yeah, he must have got
2,300.
hit by a pitch here, I guess, right? They're just not showing it.
I assume so.
That's probably what happened there. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's we can fit everybody. So Real Muto, I'm just gonna click and get him in the lineup. First base, Alonso versus Manaya, Freeman versus Tyon here. Bohm up to 47 against Feltner. Connor Joe gets Weaver if you're not a believer in Weaver at all. Santana gets Weaver if you're not a believer in Weaver at all.
Bars, John. Bars. If you're not a believer in Weaver,
is that a rhyming, or was I rhyming there? Pavin Smith's $2,800 against Waka. That guy's been on fire.
You know what's going to be interesting? Just thinking about it, like no one's going to play Pavin Smith because if they spend down at pitcher because they have so much money to spend elsewhere.
Right. But if you do pay for him, you can get 3 6K outfielders. So,
and you have a 6K shortstop that's 2K.
That's true.
Which I just cannot believe. I just cannot.
Right. So
who's your favorite first baseman? If you're, let's say this. Who's your favorite top tier first baseman, and who's your favorite value first baseman?
It's got to be Pete Alonso, right? Not to state the obvious, the most expensive first baseman out there, but like, I don't think Sean Manaea is very good. So
he was pretty bad a year ago, to the point where he didn't even make his like final 2 starts, and he didn't even start in the postseason either. Like he wasn't. Righties already have a 500 slug against them this year. Dude, he allowed 25 home runs to right-handed bats last year. 25. That's a lot of home runs. 1.88 home runs. You know what Pete Alonso does the best, John? Better than almost everyone else? Yeah. Hit home runs. So I agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe.
But it's Pavin Smith is the value guy.
Yeah, Pavin Smith is the value guy. I told you I'm interested in Pirates here. Hey, man, Connor Joe got his first base eligibility back. Had another good day on Wednesday. I don't hate Connor Joe here at home against Luke Weaver.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, second base. Again, we have like infinite money. Estrada at 5,400 seems crazy, but I would play him against Senga here. He's got power. Yep. He's got some speed. Senga's walking guys. I think there's some reason to stack against Senga here. I wonder if people just play Senga because he's 10K and it's the slate that we're looking at, right?
Yes. He is gonna. I think that the most popular combination of pitcher tomorrow is Senga and one of Ronzi Contreras and Matt Strom.
Okay.
I think that's probably the highest paired. Those are the 3 highest.
Senga and Waka, or Senga and a spend down. That's the combo.
Yep.
So again, Estrada's there at 54. I love Estrada. Wish I got him in our auction league. Our buddy Mark just kept on bidding me out, man. He just wouldn't let me have him. Nico Horner, $4,500. We talk about stolen base upside, right? He's on the mound.
Yep. If there's wind in this, like if the rain holds off and there's wind blowing out, like,
yep.
I love the Cubs.
We're team G1 Bay, like he's. I wish he would hit the top of the line. Just doesn't seem like that's going to be in the cards for him. He's just going to hit in the bottom. But Weaver hasn't been great in a bit. Bryson Stott leading off. We've been big Bryson Stott supporters on this program here.
Yep.
Sure another 2 hits today, running an RBI leading off for Philly. It feels weird looking at value when you're already like, well, we have 5K a player. We could sure keep playing value. Yeah. So I think I would narrow this down to Stott, Horner, and Estrada.
Yeah, largely agree. I largely agree. Geraldo Perdomo is going to probably start. Could hit near the top of the lineup with a righty on the mound. If you're not playing Waka, I think he's been pretty good. Our boy Rodolfo hit a home run on
He had a monster
Wednesday.
game, but against a lefty though, right? So
He didn't hit the home run off a lefty.
okay.
I believe it came off a righty
Okay.
because it was later in the game. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Home run on Wednesday, nonetheless. If you want to go there, he is obviously better against the left-handed variety, but he is. I mean, again, the Pirates are just coming into this game hot, dude. They're just coming into this series hot. So
I'm checking it out real quick. Over to third base though. I mean, Muncy against Tyon. We've seen Muncy just hit some absolute moonshots lately. At
yeah,
49.
so many home runs.
And then you got Machado against a righty at $4,800. Patrick Wisdom, speaking of moonshots, you know he didn't hit a home run yesterday. Big disappointment. Had an RBI, had a double and a run scored instead. But he had 5 home runs over 4 games before that. So,
yep,
can certainly. Did he homer off of Grove in one of those games? He might have.
Grove allowed 1 home run, 415. Did he hit a home run on 415?
He did.
There you go.
I mean, that was a 2-1 game, so that was it. That was the homer off Grove. Let's see here. Where did he home run off of? Castro hit it off Block. His Block, a lefty or righty.
Oh, yeah. Ty Block is a lefty.
Lefty, yep. Hit it off the lefty.
Shocker. Okay. Well, hitting home runs off lefties. Death taxes, Rodolfo Castro hitting home runs off lefties.
I don't think you need to go lower, though. I think you just play Wisdom or Machado or Muncy, and you just call it a day.
Yep.
I like Josh Rojas, but I don't think you need to.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Diamondback stack, Josh Rojas is
yep. Rojas and Corbin Carroll and Pavin Smith. Yep. Lock it in. Shortstop, we don't need to go there. It's just play. Don't overthink it. Just play time.
Yeah, like if you're playing FanDuel and he's not min salary.
I'm gonna check right now what FanDuel is.
I know
we have Lindor versus a lefty, right? So I know you like that spot for Lindor, but
yeah, Lindor against a lefty. I mean, Trey Turner hit his first home run on Wednesday and has just been scorching the earth this year in general.
Mm-hmm.
Hard not to like Trey Turner against Ryan Feltner, who stinks. And then Ryan Feltner has allowed righties of 630 slug this year. 355 wOBA last year.
Let's see. Tatis is $4,500. He's the most expensive shortstop on the slate. So DraftKings has him as the stone cold min. Well, FanDuel has him as the most expensive. All right. He is the most expensive hitter on FanDuel. So the top price hitter on FanDuel with outfield shortstop eligibility is Fernando Tatis. So you can play all the shortstops you want here. On DraftKings, he is the stone cold min. So
kudos to FanDuel for that.
So don't overthink it, or be very contrarian and hope that he doesn't go. But James, read off his minor league stint stats.
Yeah, he hit like 10 home runs in a 12 at bat span.
I'm gonna pull it up for everybody. I got Baseball Reference opened here.
Okay.
Minor league stats this year. In 8 games played, he hit 515 with an 1,800 OPS. He hit 7 home runs in 8 games, 33 at bats, 17 for 33, 15 RBI.
Yeah,
that is little league T-ball, coach pitches underhand level. The dude is locked in.
Yes. That is correct.
And he is coming to the major leagues to face what is essentially a 4A pitcher. So
4A pitcher.
I mean, I don't know. Do you consider Ryan Nelson anything better than a 4A pitcher? Like, I don't know.
He's been okay this year. He's been pretty good. 2 quality starts in a row.
He's an up and downer. He's a back end of the rotation on a bad team.
I am not playing anyone over Fernando Tatis.
Right.
That is not, but if you were to play FanDuel, where you could play anyone else,
I'd probably play Lindor.
It's probably Lindor. I think Dansby could be in a good spot at home if the wind's blowing out. I love Trey Turner, obviously. Xander Bogaerts is shortstop only on DraftKings as well. What a contrarian pivot that would be, huh? Playing 3K more Xander Bogaerts. It's like there's other good guys, but on DraftKings, like there's only one person that you should be even really considering.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. We got a couple more minutes here. Let's finish it off. We'll go to the outfield, where we can again effectively play probably whoever we want. Schwarb Daddy's at $6,100 against Feltner here. Reynolds, 6K. Chris Bryant. Well, we're playing Strom. We're not going to play Bryant. Cassiano.
Well, you can. Like we're building a lineup, but if you wanted to play Chris Bryant does hit lefties well.
Yeah, Andrew McCutchen has found the fountain of youth. Now that
sure
was in Coors, but I mean, 302. He's homered in 2 of the last 3, and he was hitting righties better than lefties going into that.
Homered in 3 of 4.
3 or 4.
DraftKings at this point doesn't even have the
today's slate on there, right? Yeah.
So 3 of 4.
Yep. Soto's 5K against Nelson. If you want to just go stacking.
He's been bad again.
How long does it take DraftKings to not have Tatis and Xander at the same position?
Friday.
Okay, because he's going to start at center, right?
Friday. I think he's going to be like.
Hopefully they're not going to let it linger for 3 months. You know?
Well, we'll see. I probably shouldn't say that. Hopefully by the next time that because you're off to Vegas, so hopefully by the next time you and I record. And we have the Padres on the slate. That's when I'll say that they'll have.
I don't. All right. Mookie Betts isn't on this player pool.
What?
He's not in the player pool.
What? No, he's not.
Mookie Betts just isn't in the player pool.
So, okay, hold on. So you're telling me that. I mean, Tatis is 2K and Mookie Betts is not on the slate. What are we doing?
Tatis is 2K, Mookie Betts is on the slate. We told you to play light. DraftKings just forgot this slate exists, apparently.
I'm tweeting at DraftKings.
Yeah, you tweet at DraftKings. I'm just going to start making a lineup for us here. We got a couple of minutes left. Corbin Carroll, 4K, by the way. They gave him a little bump.
He's 40. Remember 41?
Oh, yeah, he's 41.
He's 41. First time over, and he had the big game despite the
points. Yeah. Oh boy. DraftKings, no Mookie Betts. So here's the thing. Remember, Mookie Betts was playing shortstop today or Thursday, whatever day it was, right? Like, so I was expecting to see him at shortstop eligibility when I didn't see him in the outfield, but then he's not on the slate at all.
He's just excluded from.
He's not there. Cody Bellinger's $3,300. I don't mind going to Cody Bellinger there.
So Betts did not play.
Okay.
Did not play. I wonder if that's something that we should look into before.
It wasn't an injury related, though. It was a paternity.
It was the paternity leave. Yep.
But he still should be on the slate.
He should.
He should still be there. Let's see. Would you go Jack Sawinski here? Lefty versus righty? This boy, 3 homers in 2 games, $2,900. We talked about it. He had the 3rd highest average exit velocity on the year. Jack Sawinski does over your notable names. It's Jack Sawinski there. So he's $2,900.
Yeah. I like Sawinski. I told you I think I like Pirates. Not as like my favorite stack, but I think the Pirates are firmly in play.
All right, let's go back and build a line. We literally got 2 minutes to do it. Alonso?
Yes.
Okay. Second base, Estrada, Horner, or
Bryson Stott.
Okay.
Probably. I actually like Ketel Marte quite a bit in that range too, but we don't have to play him if we like Michael.
Wisdom, Machado, or Muncy?
Muncy's been so. If the wind's out, going out in Wrigley, it's Muncy's the answer.
Muncy it is. We have $4,700 for an outfielder. I'm gonna put Sawinski in there just because why not?
Yep.
$2,900. We have $5,600 a player for 2 outfield spots.
Oh, Jesus.
Soto at 5K.
Soto at 5K, even though he stunk.
And then Schwarber.
I would probably give the edge to Brian Reynolds, but we can go Schwarber if you'd like.
All right, we'll go Schwarber to complete our 3-man Philly stack. That is the lineup we got here. Again, we'll be in the Discord. 6:35 roster lock, everybody. You'll have Grande and Bender on the podcast the next couple of days. Going live, you'll have Grande and Henry Wilson at 5 o'clock there. So be on the check out for all of that. For now, everybody, good luck. We will catch you all later.